A look now at global terrorist trends and military success against ISIL and Boko Haram show a decline in the number of deaths in Iraq and Nigeria, according to the latest global terrorism database. But while the terror group's activities are weakened at home, they continue to spread to other countries. The number of deaths caused by terrorism fell by 10% in 2015, but 6 more countries from 17 registered their highest numbers of deaths. ISIL and its affiliates more than doubled their presence across the world. Nigeria's Boko Haram has spread into neighboring Niger, Cameroon and Chad, increasing the number of people killed in these countries by 157%. The rise of terrorism has also had a significant economic impact, estimated at nearly $90 billion in 2015. Iraq suffered the highest, with Afghanistan, Nigeria, Pakistan and Syria also greatly affected. Operating within these countries are ISIL, Boko Haram, the Taliban and Al-Qaeda. The 4 terror groups are said to be responsible for 74% of all deaths from terrorism. But ISIL surpassed Boko Haram as the deadliest terrorist group in 2015. It carried out attacks in 252 different cities, killing more than 6,000 people. And still on terrorism, a commander of the ISIL terror group has been arrested in Sudan. Moez Fizani, popularly known as Abu Nazim, was convicted in Italy for terrorist recruitment. He was found months after Libyan authorities warned Italy of the presence of a Milan-based cell affiliated to him. The Tunisian-born lived in Italy for most of his 20s before becoming an ISIL commander in Libya. He went underground in 1997, but later resurfaced in Pakistan, where he was briefly detained due to issues related to his visa. He was returned to Italy in 2009 to stand trial on terrorist recruitment charges. He spent 2 years in jail but was acquitted in 2012 and deported to Tunisia, from where he fled to Syria, then Libya, to fight with ISIL. Let's get you more details from CCTV Yusuf Gaiji, who now joins us live from Tunis. Yusuf, Tunis had already put out an arrest warrant for Moez Fezani. What more can you tell us about him and his role in the attacks in Tunisia?
Well, as you mentioned, this is a man that's been searched for by several governments and intelligence agencies. And Tunisia has issued an arrest warrant for his involvement and connection to the Bardo Museum attack in 2015, where gunmen killed about 21 tourists. And this is not a typical IS commander or Daesh commander who are fighting in the battlefield. This is a man who's rather behind the scene, who's very much involved in recruiting people to join the ranks of IS. He's been involved in recruiting since the 1990s, where he recruited people in Italy, where he was suspected of recruiting people to go to Bosnia and fight in Bosnia. And he's been able to survive the several wars and stay involved with this recruiting work until now with IS. And this is where Tunisia suspects he was involved in the attacks in Bardo.
Well, Yusuf, the latest global terrorism index reports Tunisia is one of the countries that saw increased threats from terrorism over the last year. Is there a sense in Tunisia that the country has turned the corner in this regard, or are the threats still imminent?
Well, the numbers show that 2016 has been a much better year for Tunisia than 2015, where there were 3 major attacks. So 2016, the government was able to actually reduce the threat and reduce the number of attacks, increase the arrests, even though we still see skirmishes or smaller attacks around the country, particularly in the mountains or in remote areas. But this is not something that is particularly tied to Tunisia and the Tunisian government and police. It's rather a regional trend, and for Tunisia this is very close, because the longer the situation in Libya is unstable, the longer the threat will be for Tunisia, and the only way out for Tunisia is to see a stable, politically stable and better security in neighboring Libya, with whom the country shares a very large strand of land, and we've seen a lot of people being able to carry their weapons and come, whether they are Tunisians or Libyans, but they come from Libya, Tunisia, to stage their attacks or their activity.
Right, Youssef Gaji for us there in Tunis.